OC World is made possible by the generous contributions of the Marisla Foundation, the Keith and Judy Swain Family Foundation, Orange County Community Foundation, the University of California, Irvine, Socorro and Ernesto Vasquez Family Foundation, Crevier Family Foundation, Draper Family Fund, and viewers like you. Thank you.
I've been proud to call Orange County home for most of my life, returning here time and time again after serving in posts across the country and the world. Orange County is a place where you can bring your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. It's not perfect, but it's special. With 34 cities and more than 3 million residents, Orange County is one of the most diverse and vibrant counties in the nation. From its physical features to the people who live here, with a powerhouse economy fueled by innovation and a dynamic workforce from across the globe. But alongside our many strengths, too many of our neighbors are struggling to realize their dreams. Some have said that Orange County is a tale of two counties, one with unlimited potential and opportunity, and the other where basic needs are unmet and barriers to success seem insurmountable. Understanding both our strengths and our challenges is crucial if we want to build a community where all have the opportunity to thrive, which is why the Orange County Community Foundation is partnering with OC World to bring you this first ever documentary series focusing on 6 areas of greatest local need, along with the inspiring efforts of community leaders working to ensure a thriving future for all who call Orange County home. Join us on this landmark journey through Orange County as together we explore the power of community.
But I got all these thoughts running through my mind all the damn time, man, and I can't seem to shut it off. I think I'm doing fine most of the time. I think that I'm alright, but I can't seem to shut it off. Feel like I'm always apologizing for feeling like I'm not on my mind when I'm feeling just fine. My exes will say that I'm hard to deal with, and I admit it's true. But all my friends, they don't know what it's like. They don't understand why I can't sleep.
I had a lot of panic attacks or anxiety attacks. And so I literally feel a shortness of breath, and I feel my mind racing a lot, and that kind of happened pretty frequently. And I just feel very lonely, I feel I was in my thoughts a lot, and literally the words of other people around me would just start to blur and I couldn't really hear them. Sometimes I would get them at school occasionally, and so I just go to the bathroom. I would be walking with my friends and suddenly I just felt this urge to cry, and maybe that was from repressed emotions that just needed to be let out, especially if they were in high stressful situations, if I had exams coming up or anything.
Imagine Angel Stadium, every seat filled with children and teens, from preschoolers to teenagers getting ready to graduate high school. Now imagine 2 more stadiums just as full. 150,000 children and youth. That is how many of our kids in Orange County are facing mental health challenges. 1 in 5 of our kids. That's alarming enough, but even more concerning is that 2/3 of those children are not getting access to the care that they and their families need to be able to move forward. I'm Shelley Haas, CEO of the Orange County Community Foundation, and in this episode of The Power of Community, we're going to take a deep dive into this issue, not only to understand the needs, but the work that's going on the ground that gives us hope and promise for making progress. To start our journey, we're turning to Dr. Heather Euste, Chief Psychologist at Rady Children's Health, Orange County, to help us understand more and how we can all make a difference.
Unfortunately, what we see is there's a pretty high incidence of mental health problems in childhood. And in fact, so much so that I might almost call mental illness a childhood disease, in the sense that adults with persistent mental illness, um, 50% of them had symptoms by the age of 14 and 75% by the age of 24. So if you really think about these kind of emerging diseases happen in childhood. And because we don't always think about kids having mental health issues, we sometimes wait to get them diagnosed, or people don't diagnose it. So sometimes kids can wait 10 years for treatment. And you think about any chronic illness that you wait 10 years to begin to treat, it's much harder to treat than if I recognize it early and try and do early intervention.
What do you see as some of the biggest long-term consequences of that many children not getting the help they need?
What we find is for kids with mental health issues, and particularly adults who have persisting mental health issues, we know there's higher rates of homelessness. We know there are higher rates of incarceration, higher rates of drug use, higher rates of suicide, and higher rates of chronic illness.
Can you talk about this whole issue of how the dynamic of child and youth mental health is really a family system issue?
Children really exist within systems, right? And if we don't help the system support the child, we can't really fix the child. And nobody has a parenting book on what do I do when my child's depressed, right? So parents really need support as well, because it's like, I don't know what to do, and it's awful to watch my child suffer.
Yes.
And so really for the work we do with kids up until late teens really is very much involved with the parents. And sometimes we even spend more time with the parents than with the children, not because the parents have caused anything, but because learning how to manage and advocate and support your child can sometimes be a little counterintuitive. And then the other piece is really how do we work within the schools? And we can talk a little bit about that for Orange County, but we know that's a big part of it. And then for children with any kind of illness, working within the medical system. So having all of those places where kids are deeply involved and trying to help those systems support children is super important.
Across Orange County, schools are stepping into a new role on the front lines of mental health issues through WellSpaces, safe and welcoming rooms on school campuses where students can share what they're experiencing and receive support from trained counselors. Developed by the Orange County Department of Education in partnership with Children's Hospital of Orange County, now part of Rady Children's Health, nearly 90 WellSpaces serve more than 450,000 students across 28 Orange County school districts. These local initiatives are part of a larger statewide commitment launched in 2021, a $4.7 billion 5-year effort designed to shift student mental health care from crisis response to early intervention.
I was really struggling, but I didn't really know why. I just felt like I was struggling and knew that there was something.
I had a lot on my mind with family issues, and so I knew that I needed someone to talk to.
I had a lot of issues inside that I didn't want to spell out to anyone else, and I always felt like I was in a bubble from starting my freshman year. I always felt like, oh, I can't tell anyone, and I should just keep it hidden to myself.
We wanted to create a space where students knew there's a safe place to come in on campus and access supports when they need it. And so it really was designed at a universal level that students could find different ways to self-regulate, to access different coping strategies, and really learn about what works for them.
WellSpaces help students de-stress from school pressures and the daily challenges they're experiencing at home and school, Activities can include coloring and crafts, water painting, journaling, and writing letters to your future self.
We wanted to reduce the mental health stigma and not have it be that space that, oh, you know, you're going through something hard, you're struggling with something, so go to the counselor's office. You can just come here to also learn about yourself, learn about just how different strategies help you feel better, and really focusing on positive mindsets.
I think at lunchtime it's really interesting to walk through this space because we have a collection of basketball players in one corner, and then we have a collection of drama students in another, and a collection of choir kids, and then a collection of softball players, and really every single walk of life is in here and being with their friends. But it also gives an opportunity for students who maybe don't necessarily have a space to eat. And so it gives them a safe place to come here and find an area where they feel that they can have lunch and it's not as high pressure as trying to walk around outside where they might be more intimidated.
After I leave the well space, I feel, it feels like a weight lifted off me, I guess you could say. It's kind of like a lot of times when I come in, I'm very overwhelmed, and just being able to tell somebody about all of it or get help making a plan to tackle whatever's overwhelming me. When I leave, I know I either have a plan or have gotten it off my chest, and I'm able to focus then in class and be present instead of only thinking about whatever's happening outside of class and keep me from doing my work.
When I come in here and I finally get it all out of my head, I feel very open-minded, and just that I can finally go do stuff without having like a million thoughts running in my head. And I just feel like there's a weight lifted off my shoulders.
And then I leave the WellSpace with a clear mind and with their with their ideas in the back of my head, and thinking how I could presume my day without those heavy thoughts on my chest.
One thing I would communicate to parents is if you're feeling an instinct that there is something going on with your student, there probably is, and that you need to trust your instincts and reach out for help.
I think when we put it into that human perspective that we all share, that life's tough sometimes and we all could use a well space, then we gain the support of all of the community, parents and adults.
One of the things we've also done is, and some of this is through philanthropy, is be able to hire people who can help guide families through the system. So once you've come to the ED, once you've working with us in the schools or in the doctor's offices, we can put you with a resource specialist who understands the community and can say, oh, yeah, I can get you in over here.
Yeah. I've heard that called care navigation.
Yes.
I don't know if that's what you call
Yes.
it, but that idea of having someone who knows the ropes, knows the route, and knows how to guide you.
Exactly.
Well, you've talked about some really daunting systemic barriers in terms of coordination between different types of medical professionals. I'm also wondering about the role of stigma as a barrier for families and children.
And if we don't talk about things, then it's easy to have the system be broken and no one try and fix it, right?
And it was both created by, and then it reinforces the stigma that it's kind of a thing that is not the same as. It's okay to have a broken arm, but it's maybe not okay to be depressed.
I'll just steal from Kay Warren, who often says it's the no casserole disease, in that if your child's hospitalized for something else, all the casseroles come out, here, let me help you, let me take your other kids to school. And there's deafening silence when your child's hospitalized for mental health issues. Starting to change, which is awesome. But I think people are just so uncomfortable because I don't know anything about it because of the stigma. Whereas if I understood better what were happening, I'd also be able to support better.
My child drew something or said something to a school counselor, was having a really hard day, and had been bullied at school that year by 2 other boys. And so that led to like just a breaking point. And so they sat down with like a team of people in the school staff, and one of them being, I think, a psychologist, and asked your questions, you know, traditional questions like, do you want to hurt yourself? Do you want to hurt others? And so at some point my child said, like, yes, I want to hurt myself, but I don't want to hurt others. But my child didn't know what hurting themselves looked like, but they thought about knives a lot. And so that was the call that I got. was you need to rush your child to an emergency room, check them in, and make sure that they get the support that they need. That was scary for me, and I definitely felt like I had failed as a mom to not see the signs. It was a difficult time, and I think that kids are very smart, and they know how to read energy, and they know more than parents will admit. And so they knew something's off. I think mommy and daddy are supposed to sleep in the same room, but mom doesn't want to. And then mom locks the door after she comes into the room. So, and if I'd put the kids to bed at 10, 11 p.m. and the dad's still not home, and I had been crying because they know my eyes are red and puffy, I think the kids know something's definitely off. One topic we talk about within the Latino population is it's stigmatized. It's looked at as a weakness. What is wrong with you? Why would you need therapy? It's all in your head. Doctors are just trying to take your money. That's another comment we hear from our elders. The other thing I would say is the aspect of machismo in the culture, of men are the leaders of the home. They set the rules. They set the boundaries, they control the finances. So that's why I say therapy looks different for us. That's just how it is. And so it was important that the kids talk to therapists that were trauma informed, but also culturally informed and sensitive to that.
Child Guidance Center provides traditional mental health services as well as signature programs to meet the evolving needs of our community, including peer programs that support teens on the autism spectrum, early intervention programs that support parents with children ages 2 through 7, and programs specifically tailored for veteran families and their children. Nearly 5,000 families each year are served at 5 child guidance centers across Orange County, and 60% of their clients have experienced some type of trauma or adverse childhood experience.
We know that 1 in 5 children face mental health challenges, yet less than a third get the help that they need. And the rise in self-harming and youth suicide is incredibly alarming, with suicide now the second leading cause of death for our preteens and teens. All of this shapes how our youth see themselves, their futures, and their place in this world. We know that young children learn through play, and this is a play-based intervention. And it was a natural choice for us because it so closely aligns with our mission to serve children and families. While many parents know what to do when a child has a fever or a broken arm, they don't know what to do when a child is struggling emotionally. Parents learn through a lot of practice, repetition, and the support of the therapist. Parent-child interaction therapy, a hands-on live parent training approach for children ages 2 to 7. The parent is in the room with their child, and the therapist coaches them through a wireless earpiece, and they observe them through a one-way mirror while they play and interact on the other side of the mirror. So parents get the support and the practice in real time throughout both phases, and it helps them really become more confident using these skills with their children. It's like having a professional whisper in your ear at the time that you need it most. The good news is that awareness about mental health and the importance of early intervention has grown tremendously. We know that the sooner that we intervene, the better. But awareness alone isn't enough. Many of our families are referred by the schools, by their pediatricians, by community providers to come in, but I'm really proud to say that the largest number of referrals come from word of mouth. So parents are talking to other parents. And when we ask for help, then we get. But there are resources out there that can help lessen the stressors and the needs your families might need. And then we can focus around really strengthening relationships and strengthening the family unit so that children can be successful not only at home, but at school and out in the world long term.
From humble beginnings nearly 50 years ago as a safe space for teens to hang out after school at a Fullerton church, Western Youth Services has become a mental health leader with a full spectrum of services for both youth and their families. Today, Western Youth partners with schools, government agencies, and community groups throughout Orange County, with 6 clinics providing comprehensive mental health services for children suffering with psychological distress and even severe psychiatric diagnoses.
Children are showing up feeling anxious, more anxious than ever, and sad and depressed. And so a lot of times it's that individual attention for to address those feelings and emotions that's in high demand in meeting them where they are, even in the home, in the schools, and other places. A caregiver or a parent might notice behavior getting what they might perceive as out of control, and it might be due to anxiety, depression, trauma responses, things of that nature.
When Echo asked and said, I think I need to start therapy too, I knew it's like, you need it now. And at this point now, I feel like I waited too long because my focus was on my younger child, who's my middle child, who had gone to the emergency room because of suicidal thoughts. We went to Western Youth Services because that's where my middle child was already in therapy. And they were kind and empathetic and informed and very much cared about our culture and understood our culture, the fact that we're a Latino family. And so therapy is gonna look different for us, so we appreciated that.
I think a lot of the time I just locked myself up in my room and my closet, and a lot of crying too. But yeah, but eventually once you run out of crying, and then you kind of just are kind of numb almost. A lot of it was being very self-isolating. Even if I was in a room full of people, I felt isolated still, and I felt like people were judging me all the time, even if they weren't. So a lot of it was kind of internally feeling not very secure in myself.
When children have high self-esteem, what others say about them or say to them has less of an impact because they know confidently who they are. And so what we do is we build strengths individually, look at the individual strengths that a child brings with them, and we build on those strengths to help them build resilience, help them manage their emotions, and really address specific tools and modalities, therapy modalities, to address the trauma as well.
Luckily, my mom is very open, so we've both been very open with each other. And I think we kind of had to be after the whole separation happened, because it was definitely very messy, legally too. There was just a lot going on, and so I think we both kind of helped each other. And then eventually, I told her I think I want to start therapy because I really do want a professional to kind of be able to help me in these emotions that I haven't fully been able to process.
I think because I had the opportunity to go back to college, educate myself about mental health, and that it's okay to ask for support. In fact, it's better to ask for support. You become a better individual and a better friend, a better parent, a better sibling.
After going through therapy, I learned a lot more how to first address my anxiety, my generalized anxiety disorder, and then I also learned how to cope with it, because I learned that it can never really go away, but you can learn how to work with it rather than push it away.
We've talked about a lot of elements of a multifaceted situation. If there are 3 things that you wanted people to take away from this conversation today, what would they be?
Yeah, I think one is that children absolutely have mental health problems, and that it is a growing problem. By identifying kids early, we probably can do better interventions to really allow kids to live to their full potential. I think secondly is really to go out there and talk about the issue, because that really breaks down stigma, and with less stigma, I think services will follow to having us have a more comprehensive, cohesive sort of continuum of care.
Yeah.
And lastly, you know, there's so, I think you can look at it two ways. There's so much to do and I'm paralyzed, or you can look at it as there's so much to do that there's a place for you to feed your passion in this area. And so philanthropy, community support makes all the difference in the world.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be with you today. Thank you for everything you do for our community.
I can't sleep through the night. I thought that I could take something to fix it, man. I wish it was that simple. But all my friends, they don't know what it's like, what it's like. What it's like.
I'm looking for help. I have 3 young kids and it's just me. I'm working 2 jobs on the night shift and I'm still not making enough. The electric bill came today, and if I pay it, there won't be anything left for groceries.
So we had to use our savings to pay for hospital bills because we both lost our health insurance. I've never had to ask anyone for help, but I don't know if we'll be able to afford his medicine this month.
I put in application after application, but no one seems to want to hire me. I'm living out of my car. I can't keep going like this. I don't know where to turn for help.
Santiago Canyon College in Orange, California is ranked among the top performing community colleges in the nation with more than 260 certificate and degree programs. Santiago Canyon College is a proud sponsor of community programming and OC World.